But if you're one of those runners out there that the super shoes these days are too soft and too bouncy, then this one is certainly worth a look. So just a couple runs done and dusted in this one. Now this is the 361 Degrees Flame 3, and these are my first impressions. But before we get into it, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And with the specs, so this one is a neutral road racing shoe, and coming in at a pretty good price for a carbon plated race day shoe. So the official website states that this one is coming in at $278 Australian. I think that works out to be about $175 in the US. I do know some other websites that do sell this shoe have got the shoe either a little bit cheaper or a little bit more expensive. So it just pays to look around. Now in the weight, really light package here, very impressed. So 7.2 ounces or 205 grams. Now that's this shoe in my size, a US 8.5. Now in the stack, I've had a couple of conflicting reports here, but I think the most accurate one is from my experience and just the way it looks and feels. I'm going with a 36 in the rear, 30 in the front, and that's going to give us a 6mm drop. And in the upper, so the material that they're using here, I believe, is what they call a carbon silk material. But what it really reminds me of is the motion wrap they use in the ASICS Metaspeed Sky and Paris series. So it's got that look about it, it's got that feel about it, but it is incredibly breathable. So I love the breathability of this upper. Now with our heel counter, pretty flimsy here, as you can see there, I can just fold that down really easily. No padding around the heel collar or on the tongue, but they have got this internal heel pad, which feels like it's actually made out of memory foam, which is quite nice. With our tongue, it's not gusseted, as I said before, no padding, super thin, and it kind of reminds me of the tongue that they did use in the earlier Vaporfly models. It's just not as high though, but it's got a bit of a wing fit, so it just sits flat on top of the foot. It can contour around the top. Our lacing system, so again, it really reminds me of the lacing system that they used in the Vaporfly 1. So it's just slightly off to the side so you don't get the laces pressure off down the middle of the shoe. And they do use these notched laces that you'll find in the Vaporfly, Alphafly, and also those ASICS Metaspeed shoes. So I really love the laces that they're using here. The tongue can be a little bit fiddly because it is not gusseted. So it's pretty hard to get your foot in there and get that tongue nice and straight. Now for the lockdown, I'm going to say it's okay. So initially when you put your foot in it, you feel like, well, I feel like my foot sits quite high in it. I didn't think that this heel pad was that effective. However, once I started running in it, I didn't have any issues. So my concerns went away. Yeah, just your foot just sort of feels a little bit high in the shoe. In the fit, so true to size in the length, and I'm going to say it's pretty generous in the toe box as well, so a good amount of width, and it's got a lot of volume as well. As you can see, there's a lot of material there, but I quite like the extra room. And in the outsole, so the website says that they use an RPU outsole, so I'm not sure if that compound is actually rubber, but it actually reminds me of the G3 outsole compound that they use in the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro. So it's got these little aggressive 3D lugs all on the bottom, and it just does an excellent job in the grip department. Well, in the dry anyway. I haven't tested this one out in the wet yet, but just the look and feel of it really reminds me of that G3 outsole. Now, lots and lots of rubber on the bottom of this shoe. Pretty much whatever touches the ground is got this rubber on the bottom of it. It's not a super soft compound, but then again, it's not a really hard slabby compound either. Probably somewhere in the middle, but performance is all right. Other little features here on the bottom of the shoe though, we've got some fairly big cutouts through the bottom of the outsole, and you can see the exposed carbon plate in the shoe. We've also got a bit of a crevice that goes up and down the bottom of the shoe as well. And in the midsole, the foam that they're using here is what they call Quick Flame CQT. So not too sure what that actually is, but by the looks of it and to the touch, it really reminds me of Power Run PB. It's what they use in the Saucony Endorphin series. So it's not the exact same foam as that, but it's certainly got that pellet look about it, and it's certainly got that responsive feel about it as well. So 2 layers of that stuff. And under that first layer, they have got their quick bone, full length carbon plate. Now, rigidity wise, this shoe is pretty stiff. So pretty stiff, not too much flex in the forefoot at all, but through the middle of the shoe, there is a little bit of flex there. But what's surprising with this carbon plate, there's a little bit of twist in it. So a little bit of twist, so a little bit more than a normal carbon plated shoe, but rigidity wise, it's pretty stiff that way. But as I said, you've got a bit of stiff left and right. Surprising. Geometry here, really nice. I like it. So we've got a bit of an early stage, and I will say it's at a pretty aggressive rocker. So you can certainly feel it at a wide variety of paces, this one, and also got a pretty prevalent rear foot rocker as well. And in the ride, so the first word that is coming to mind here is responsive. So yeah, super responsive, very snappy ride. It's quite firm as well, certainly a lot firmer than a lot of the other super shoes that are on the market with their soft and bouncy foams. This shoe is not like that. So there is not a lot of bounce in this shoe. However, there is a small sweet spot in this shoe that if you hit it, you do get a bit of sink and you do get a bit of bounce, but it's quite a small little sweet spot. And I believe it's just here where the gap is in the shoe. So you can see a gap where there's a hole in the midsole. It's just below the plate. And I believe if you hit around here, it's sort of hard to tell because it's quite hard to hit, but once you start hitting that sweet spot, yeah, there is a nice little bit of sink and a little bit of pop and a little bit of bounce. But yes, very small. But you hit anywhere else in the shoe, yeah, quite firm, snappy, responsive. Yes, it feels quite fast. This geometry as well, really easy to get onto this rocker, as I said, and just lets you tick the legs over. For me, it is screaming out that it's more suited to the shorter races for me, so 5K, 10K, just because it's just so snappy and so responsive. I'm not too sure of its suitability in the longer races. Well, certainly for me, I think I'm a bit soft to wear this one for anything, you know, over 2 hours. So what I'm liking in this shoe so far is certainly the silhouette of the shoe, because the upper design really reminds me of the Vaporfly 1, a shoe that I absolutely just fell in love with. So I love that silhouette. I love the material they use in the upper, super breathable. Really enjoy the geometry of the shoe. It's going to work for a lot of people. It's quite easy to get onto this rocker. And also love the price, carbon plated race shoe, under $300. And what I'm still a little bit unsure about in the shoe is just the firmness of the ride, because my legs have probably been deconditioned because I do enjoy those soft bouncy rides of the other race shoes and also the other daily trainers. So this one is coming across as quite firm for me, so I think I need to toughen my legs up just a little more. And dislike, so for me, it's the tongue. It's too fiddly to get your foot in and to get the tongue nice and straight when you're lacing up. And just wrapping up my initial thoughts in this shoe, so I do think that this shoe has got a lot of promise because there is a lot of things I like about it. As I said, I love that silhouette. You feel like you've got the old school Vaporfly on, the breathability, and just the geometry. I really appreciate the geometry in the shoe. I know it's going to work well for my foot strike. I just think the foam just needs an upgrade. It needs a tweak. For me, I need some more bounce and I need some more softness for me to really fall in love with the shoe. But if you're one of those runners out there that the super shoes these days are too soft and too bouncy, then this one is certainly worth a look. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Any questions you've got regarding this shoe, how it relates to anything else, just drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.